Welcome to selfdiscoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Quantum Spirituality right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my wonderful guest today is Kelly O'Haram. We're going to be talking about something that's right up my alley. We're going to explore love, power, and self-discovery through the lens of past lives, drawing from our own transformative experiences and readings. Well, she got me at the love, power, freedom, and spirituality, because I think that is something that we all need to step into right now. She explores love, power, freedom, and spirituality through past lives, inspired by her own past life readings and personal transformation. She's known for elevating people's frequency and vibration. She helps others unlock their potential, align with their present life, with their desired one through reinvention, energy work, storytelling. She was born in New York, and she puts her sensory gifts to work as a professional wine taster and sommelier. And after raising two children and overcoming personal health crisis, she discovered the tarot and became, as far as she knows, the first author to channel an entire novel through it. We're going to be talking about her book, which is the, how do you pronounce this? Arcanum?
Arcanum.
Arcanum, Whispers in the Forest. And we're going to be talking all about the book, but mostly I think really want to talk about this work of, of the freedom of spirit, of self-discovery, and just allowing channeling to happen. So many people don't realize we can all do it, and we all do it on a particular different level, but we're unaware that, we need to open up the soul in order for it to come through, let it resonate with the heart, go into spirit and action for the mind to know what it needs to know when it needs to know it. In other words, get out of your head and trust that beautiful spiritual feeling. So welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thank you, Sarah. It's so good to be here.
So, I mean, you can tell one of my favorite topics, and, why under quantum spirituality, because people now realize there is a science around spirituality. There's a science around energy and channeling. It's an elevation of our consciousness. It literally takes us on to a higher frequency. When did you actually realize that you were vibrating at that particular level?
Well, just like anybody, throughout my life, I've had chapters where I could feel the pull of my soul pulling me
Mm,
to open that up. And then, life got in the way, jobs, relationships, parenting,
expectations.
whatever.
Yeah.
And so that you kind of shut that down again. But it really kind of erupted for me in 2014 when I was going through a really dark chapter. My marriage was ending, my father was dying, just a lot of heavy
Mm,
emotional realities. And I will say, for some reason, there is something to be said that great change and great fear propels you to dive deep into yourself
yeah.
and to find like the metal of the human. And that's what I did. I stumbled upon the tarot. It was not something I was seeking.
Mhm.
It found me. But between 2014 and 2017, I studied the tarot, and through that divination tool, it opened up my intuitive awareness,
Mhm.
my third eye, whatever you like to call it. And I've never looked back.
I always have a saying saying the universe gives us a nudge, nudge, wink, wink, and if we're not paying attention, it gives us a cosmic 2x4.
Totally.
So, kind of divorce, losing your father, bottoming out in a sense is kind of just a springboard to go
Mhm.
in the right direction if we pay attention.
Correct. Well, and the whole problem is that fear can, and the mind can
Hmm.
keep one stuck, and just chasing your tail in that
Hmm.
memory of pain, and
Yes.
you relive it every day, even though it's not real anymore.
Hmm.
I was lucky enough to heed the signals and, follow the proverbial crumbs on the path that was laid out for me. Because I got that 2x4 to the head.
Yeah.
I got smacked hard. Uh, but I needed it. It was such a blessing. I'm so grateful for that. So, it's just one of those things that when you know it, you hear it, you sense it, but you
Hmm.
don't want to know it. You don't want to hear it.
Yes.
You don't want to sense it. Then there's something there that's really exciting and full of possibility if you have the courage to turn and try it.
We would prefer that you don't get the cosmic 2x4,
Yeah.
but sometimes that's also part of our teachings, part of our learning
Hmm.
is that because from that darkness, you begin to see what light matters. It's
Hmm.
not all light. It's like, where is that light honing in? It's also not thinking, but feeling the knowledge. Now, when you channel that knowledge, it's something that encompasses you, mind, body, heart, and soul.
Hmm.
And it's not just the human thought that then we then have to persuade ourselves into. It's an absolute, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's a very different type of communication.
Hmm.
A lot of people may have experienced it as a hunch, an instinct, about a child, about a situation, about, an event that they're attending and they have a really bad feeling. That's what I'm referring to when I say that I channel the energy of situations and people and things like that. I have an ability now to, and believe me, just like you said, this is something everybody can do.
Yes,
You want a nice bicep, you pick up the dumbbell and you do the curl.
exactly. Exactly.
I use the tarot and other methods to exercise my intuitive muscle.
Hmm.
And to repeat what you just mentioned, I learned where in my body my intuition lives. What does
Yeah.
that feel like? Is it a gut tickle? Is it my throat buzzing? Is it goosebumps? Like, what is
Hmm.
that for me? And it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
But you
It's
learn the
it's
language. Its own language.
it is absolutely. I call it the universal language. People may call it God, universe, spirit, source, energy. It doesn't really matter. It's all one source, and
Yeah.
that is just a label. But I call it the universal language, and it's clarity. It's and sometimes even what you download, you may not understand it in the moment, but just digest it. It will become clear. But the
Mhm.
biggest thing is do not agenda it. Do not step into thought and say, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. No, it's like, it's almost surrendering in order to receive that clarity. It's trust. And
Mhm.
as you say, where you feel it, for me, it's always the core, right
Mhm.
here,
Yes.
kind of when the heart is, when that core is absolute, it is the truth. It just is. I
Mhm.
don't question it at all. If my core isn't quite in alignment with it, is I obviously need to know more. And if my core says definitely not, is go in the opposite direction.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Pay
Exactly.
attention to whatever it is that speaks to you, because it never lies to you.
Never. It's the one thing that it won't blow the proverbial smoke up your skirt. It will always tell you the truth of the situation and what you need to know, even if it's a difficult truth.
Yes. Yes. And
And
yeah.
that's my favorite part of it, because the
Mm,
mind will lie. Mind
hmm.
will lie to protect us from perceived danger or harm or sadness or, trouble. But the spirit intuition won't.
No.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely clear. And we want that clarity, especially in the world where there's so much confusion and so much static. The universe gave me a saying 7.5 years ago. I'm going to shake you up, to wake you up, for you to step up and change it up and grow up vibrationally, but also as a human race, it's time to grow up.
Yes.
Right now, for many people, they've been hearing this for a while and they woke up, however, how rudely they
Right.
woke up. They woke up, and but what we're seeing right now is a massive shakeup in the world, and for me, I utterly and completely believe is because the consciousness needs to rise.
Yes.
All right, and this is why it is shaking up, because when we collectively see what is so utterly wrong, right, it is then that conscious, I call it the consciousness rebellion. It is now we will stand up together in harmony, not with pitchforks, not with anger, but
Mhm.
with truth and
Mhm.
with compassion and passion and love, and collaboration, in order to raise those frequencies up into that beautiful thing of love and peace, which is
Mhm.
all achievable. And it's, you don't seek peace out there, you become the peace you seek.
Exactly. Exactly. No, and it's a very exciting time despite
Mm,
the tumultuous era that we are living.
yes.
It's very exciting from that exact standpoint that you were talking about. And it's not just humanity. The
Hmm.
planet is
Yes.
going through an energetic upgrade.
Yeah.
So there's this incredible, rare cosmic event
Mm.
going on where not only the planet is changing her electromagnetic field and vibration, but we as a human race have this opportunity to do the same. Not everybody will go.
No.
That's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. That's their path.
Hmm.
But the waves and waves of
Mm.
people that I see just joining the ride,
Yeah.
raising their frequency, elevating the frequency then of their home, their community, their state, their country.
Mm.
It's breathtaking because I work with
Yeah.
people all around the world, and it's an awakening for sure.
And it's
Oh,
beautifully encouraging.
oh, it's
You watch the news one moment and it's like, oh, how, I mean, humans are their own worst enemy,
yeah,
right? And we watch what we do to each other and just like, how can you?
yeah.
And it always comes from a place what I call lackitude instead of gratitude. And if
Hmm.
we step in gratitude to what this beautiful planet gives us, and just how awesomely flawsome we really are, and each one of us has a beautiful gift, then that gratitude will always help us propel up. But if we're in a constant lackitude and angertude, we're going to keep down on that lower dimensional level and never be able to rise up. So it's an invitation, I feel, from the universe right now. If you hear me and feel me, rise with me, because
Right.
we are meant to, as human beings, evolve. And I think we're actually behind time in that evolvement.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And I think that's why there's um,
Escalation.
this escalation
Mm,
and a bit of all of this chaos going
yes.
on around us to propel those that are willing to answer that call. Um, because it's a call.
Hmm.
And it's not a call to battle, it's not a call to
No.
war. It's a call to have the courage to really embrace the truth of yourself.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
which is can be scary things for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yes. And sometimes you have to have common sense and a no nonsense attitude. It's the boundary of I'm just not going to receive that. Right. And we want to hold people accountable, but the only way we can do that is reflect the consciousness back to them that they hold themselves accountable.
Right.
And that is that consciousness of like, I didn't know this was wrong, now I do. And I always say, when you're aware you care, when you care you do something about it, but you
Right.
can't be unaware.
No, no, you can't get anywhere from unaware.
Yeah, exactly. You can deny, you can la 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 la, but
Mhm.
and the invitation is what are you going to do about it? And a lot of people still want to point fingers. It's everyone out there, but no, there's three pointing back at you going, but what about you? and
Exactly.
and this is an invitation for us all to step up, and to do it as a collective and a community. We have to start with ourselves, don't we? We
Mhm.
don't bring to the orchestra broken strings. We've got to make sure we're in harmony with our own instrument first.
Absolutely. No question. And what's lovely, as creation, existence, it's been proven,
Mm.
it's a vibratory
Hmm.
experience. So we raise the vibration of humanity. Our reality must change. It's
Yes.
universal law. It must reflect that higher state of frequency back to
Hmm.
us. So the chaos, the noise, the devastation, the upset, the anger, the judgment, all of
Hmm.
that will cease to happen. It will cease to manifest because life must reflect back to us the vibration that we are putting out.
Yes.
In my personal world, I have no unrest.
Hmm.
I have no disruption. It's, now I witness it out in the
Yes.
world
Yes.
where my field is not strong enough as just the one to
Right.
go and change that. But now that all of this is being
Hmm.
and growing, it's a very exciting time.
It is. And, I say inspiration begets invitation, but when you're inspired by other people's actions, the coming together, the raising in the harmony, it is an invitation that these are just ordinary people
Mhm.
waking up, so to speak,
Yeah.
and that you too can open your eyes. You too can lift up your heart. You can step into compassion and understand the orchestra is only as strong as each person's instrument,
Correct.
right? And we want you to perfect your instrument. Perfect's the wrong thing, but master your instrument, so that when you do come to that orchestra, you agree to play in harmony, each other in their strengths. And there are many different type of orchestras out there, but it's I feel what is happening is that all of the chaos out there is pointing back to us and going, here's the invitation. What are you going to do about it?
Mhm. Yeah. How are you going to respond?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people hesitate because they have an innate fear that by accepting that invitation, by taking that step, in the tarot deck starts with the Fool card,
Hmm.
and it's the leap of faith off the proverbial side of the mountain.
Yes.
And people are afraid that if they do that and embrace this side of themselves that they are still a little unfamiliar with and unsure about, that their life will no longer resemble what they know and feel safe with. And that's not the case.
Hmm.
You can have this beautiful energetic journey and ascension and still keep the framework of your life. You still have the family members you love,
Yes.
you still have the children that you've raised, you still, have the parents that you look to, whatever it is, the job that you adore, but you approach it, you move through it
Mm.
in a very different fashion. And as a result, it just becomes so much more joyful.
It does.
It's just amazing.
It,
And
it
it's a
it's just
subtle
like, why
shift.
don't I do this sooner? And
I
and
know completely.
and if
Exactly.
you do close doors on people, it's just they're not ready to rise with you. But
It's
you
not,
are
it's not a
obligated to
painful
rise.
closing.
No, it isn't. It's
It's like a
it's like when you're
gentle,
ready, you
yeah,
know?
it's just like one ship moves
Hmm.
one way and the other ship moves the other way.
Hmm.
And it's rather easy. It just kind of
Yeah.
takes care of itself.
Again, if you're willing
Um,
to allow and surrender. I always say that when you
good.
take a leap, blind, deaf, and dumb, in order to see, hear, and feel. And it
Mhm.
is that trust, right? And the thing is with the universal love that is downloaded to us, this wisdom. There's a reason why this is called self-discovery wisdom. We're all on the journey of discovering our wisdom. It is a companion. It's always got you.
Mhm.
And even if you feel, oh, gosh, I'm in the dark, I'm not where to go, all it's telling you is be still,
Right.
absorb the silence, absorb the stillness.
Yeah.
You are the light you seek,
Yeah.
and it will shed light on the path you're meant to take. But sometimes we just need to take a breath and just be where we're meant to be.
Well, yeah, and that can be really uncomfortable for most
Mm,
human beings, especially now in the 21st century. Everyone's so
yeah.
used to moving at Mach speed all the time,
Mm.
constant stimulation, visual prompts, and auditory prompts.
Saturation.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's perfect
Mm,
word.
mm,
Saturation. And to sit in the stillness with the self, it's like meeting a stranger.
yeah.
And you can have that stranger danger moment, even if it's just yourself.
Yes. Yes.
So it's uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie.
No, no.
It's normally very uncomfortable
Hmm.
before it gets comfortable.
You've
But
actually got to undo all the lies you've been telling yourself.
totally. Oh my God.
Right. And
Yeah.
like, the more you deal with them, resistance is futile. You have to deal with them. The
Yeah.
more you deal with them, you go, my God, I've been operating on that paradigm for so long,
I know.
and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, no more, no more. But you have to be willing to face. It's
Yeah.
not a punishment. It's not out to get you. It's there to uplift and enlighten you.
Oh, 100%. No, and it's not, you haven't done anything wrong.
No.
Like none of us have done anything wrong. If anything, that those protective patterns of ours, which are like when you go
Mm.
into the stillness, it is like a game of whack-a-mole. They're all over the place, and you're constantly trying to be like, oh my God, I can't keep up. But what a breathtaking gift over the
Mm.
course of our life that our mind had the ability to adapt to our
Yes.
perception of fear in order to try and protect us. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really the evolutionary purpose of the mind, is to protect us from perceived harm, be it a
Yeah.
saber-toothed tiger or now just our own imagination. And
I
so,
call it the common sense fear. The
yes,
common sense fear, don't put your hand in the fire, don't walk in front of a bus, don't walk down a dark alley at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's common sense fear. And you
correct.
know how to register that. But don't be fearful of the unknown. Instead, step into wonderment and
Yes.
exploration
Yeah.
and what is there to discover, because we are exploratory creatures by nature. And we've allowed fear to block that exploration. And
Mhm.
it's like everything we've ever done from the beginning of our existence is to explore the unknown. And somewhere along the line, people dictated the fear as a way of stopping and controlling people. And
Mhm,
when you let go of that clamp on you, and
mhm.
that it's your choice, your free will, not somebody else's choice over you, then it just becomes so much more exciting. What is there out there for me?
Exactly. Well, and that, I mean, I love how you phrase that because we start in a state of pure imagination as children,
Hmm.
and the world is magical.
Yes.
It's full of magical beings and imaginary friends and fabulous tea parties where there's nothing on the table, just this incredible pure imagination.
Yes.
And then things start to shift, and that imagination is warped and twisted into something that creates constant fear.
Yes.
Fear of hurt, fear of disappointment, fear of abandonment, fear of lack, like all of the things. So the imagination is still in place, but it's been just
Twisted.
distorted.
Yeah.
So you really, the stillness allows you to, like you said, undo the distortion,
Hmm.
like, untie the knot. And then you're back into the world of pure imagination
Yeah.
like you had as a child.
Pure
Oh,
imagination.
it's one of my
Yes.
favorite songs.
Yes.
I
I,
love it.
I'm going to do a shameless plug here because last year I put out a book called Our Forgotten Children. And it's
Mm,
an anthology on the raising of our children and what a disservice we have done to them. Because it's all about conformity, obey. You're only important if their grades are this, if you're that, or that, etc. Instead of looking at them, at each of them as a gift of what they are, and following their lead. If they're so into this right now, nurture it. Let
yes.
them absorb them and to learn from it. If it's something else tomorrow, nurture it. Let them discover this is what they're meant to be doing. And instead of sit still, conform, you will do as you're told. And
Mhm.
yes, there are boundaries and there's conformities to a point, especially when it comes to safety, structure, I would say, rather than conformity. But we're doing such a disservice to the human nation by this restraints of you are less than if you don't get an A, and you're less than if you haven't got followers, you're less than if this and that. And I think that's something we need to rewrite.
Yeah. I love that you wrote that book. That's an important book.
And the people that are contributed into it are all people that are, come from working with children in
Mhm.
some level and see, where the problem is. And if we don't recognize the problem, we can't put it right. Again,
No.
when we're aware, we care, we do something about it. So
Right. Yes. No, I love that. I love that so much because I just I see
excuse
so
me.
many youth in this day and age. I mean, a lot of my clients are teenagers. A lot
That's
of my
wonderful.
clients have sent me their children, um,
Great.
in order to help them remember,
Hmm.
and to realize exactly what's going on here. Because my job is to put myself out of a job.
Yeah,
When my clients stop reaching out to me, that is a good day for me.
that means they're on the right path.
They're on the right path. They are vibing in their vibe. They're
Hmm.
aligning with their life, and the results they are receiving align with the life they want to have
You're
because
right.
they're vibrating at the frequency of those results.
Yes.
Youth, teenagers, I don't work with young children, but teenagers don't have enough life under their belt
No.
in order to have perspective.
Hmm.
So it's a very different animal and it's a very different mountain to tackle, but it's working, and they have to remember, like you said, their value just
Yes.
because of who they are, because they're alive.
And to stop following the Pied Piper of misinformation,
Completely,
right?
completely.
And that out there is not important. What really is important is what lies within here.
Exactly. Nothing outside of you is
No,
real.
no.
And we're taught to give our power away to,
Mm,
to the proverbial dollar, or whatever your currency is, to,
yes.
to acquisition, to love, to your partner, whatever. We're constant to a certain body type,
Yes.
but you're just giving your power away.
Yeah.
And it's
Actually, becoming
okay to
slaves too.
enjoy those things in life if that's
Hmm.
the life that you lead, but it's not because they have power over you.
Hmm.
It's
Choice.
it's yeah, exactly. You're just in alignment with that type of life.
Yes, exactly. It's everything is an inside out journey. And, some people are really, truly afraid. And, perhaps they've had traumas in their life,
Mhm.
right? And yes, fair enough. Yeah, you've been shaken up, right? And it woke you up to a nightmare. All right. So, but that doesn't mean you're afraid to sleep again or you're afraid to try again. And it's like all of the traumas that we go through in life, and admittedly, some are just absolutely outrageous, and nobody should ever go through them. But we're never given more than what we can really handle. And it's always not to get to us, it's to teach us. What are we meant to learn from this? And the biggest thing I think is how courageous we are, how strong we are, what abilities we had that we didn't know we had. You know, maybe it's leading to your meaningful purpose. What are you passionate about? But
Mhm.
it's also that free will when you can't help people until they're willing to help themselves. But it is that willingness to say, what has happened to me? I refuse to be the victim, but what am I meant to learn from this that will empower me to be more?
Right.
And we've we don't teach our children or each other to step into that mindset.
No, not at all. You will be what I want you to be.
Exactly. Focus
That's
on the
that
strength.
tends to be 80% of the parenting style globally these
Yes.
days.
Yeah.
You
And
can
then that
change to
parenting style
form
doesn't matter how old they are, still living on that pattern, right?
100%. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying these are bad people.
No,
They're
just
doing the
caught in.
best they can. It's not like
Yes.
they're sitting here intentionally, I will break your spirit and I will
Mm,
break your soul. And, that's not what's happening. It's just they are passing on what they have learned.
exactly.
But I do
Unaware very
feel that
often.
we have a generation rising where that pattern's going to change.
Yes, exactly.
Really, really believe that. And
Yeah.
people have to realize as well, like I agree with you, we're never being punished.
No,
We're always being protected, but it can be really devastating what happens to some people in a lifetime. And and the lesson that they are needing to learn could be something from a past life. And
absolutely.
that's where it gets really hard because
Unfinished business.
exactly, but
Mhm,
unless you are made aware of that or you
mhm,
can tap into that energy, it's very hard to find resolution and peace around it. It really is.
mm,
There's wonderful people out there that do past life regressions and can really help to figure out and unravel the
mhm.
trauma that lives in your body that you just can't shake, even though you've tried so many different things. Um, but yeah, past life energy has a lot to do with it. Is my feeling.
Oh, and I'm a testament to that. Twice I've had past lives removed from me. First time 150, and the second time another 50, because of the cellular level things come to the top.
Yeah.
And what a difference it gave to my life. Almost, I felt like I'm a blank slate now. I'm no longer feeling that, I'm up against this brick wall and I can't go through, over, under, nothing. I'm just hitting it all the time. And I didn't need to identify with every life to release it. The
No.
first time she simply did it with the pendulum, and it was really
Beautiful.
quite an experience. And then later on, it was somebody giving me an intuitive massage where she was bringing out the cellular. And, that happened to be 50 lifetimes of persecution because I've always been a spiritual being. I was here to come to ignite heart and souls right from the
Right.
very beginning. And so being burnt at the stake, torn and quartered, all of that, and all had to
Can't
be
imagine.
released. And never mind your trauma DNA from your own family that you inherit, from your
Right.
lineage, right? So we carry so much with us that we don't realize is not our own. And if
Mhm.
we're willing to go and explore, well, how do I release this? How do I recognize what is mine and what isn't? You're
Mhm.
starting to take control of yourself. Now, you're not going to get that from a doctor or from your teacher. You're going to get that from people like yourself, whatever they specialize in, whether it's past life or future lives or present lives.
Mhm.
Everybody's been given a gift, but step out of the I need to know and I need to be in control. And step into somebody's gift that they've been given because they're there to open that door for you, to help release you or ignite you. That's what they're here to do. That's what you woke up to do, right?
Yes.
But you
100.
specialize in what you do. This is your area,
Correct.
right? And so other people, that's their area. That was their instrument, their gift. But you're the one that's got to take the journey in discovery of who these people are and how they can help you. So, in
Oh,
other words, you're helping yourself, you're helping them help you.
100%. And just like in, allopathic medicine, where you
Hmm.
have neurologists, cardiologists,
Yes.
orthopedics, like, specialists for all the different
Hmm.
areas of
Hmm.
the physical vessel, There are energetic healers and teachers and mentors that can help you in a lot of different areas
Yes.
of your spiritual journey. It's
Hmm.
not a one size fits all of the
No,
time.
no.
My experience of presence, truly being in the now, beyond space and time, will be very different than yours,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Beautiful, but a totally different type of beauty.
Maybe it's part of the same chorus orchestra, but a different instrument.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So, there's so many ways to go about it. And it's just, again, as we started with, it's just a matter of having the courage to, yeah, really, like you said, be in the stillness,
Yes. Pay
to kind of
attention.
start to shut it all down,
Hmm. Exactly.
and listen,
Yeah. Feel what you're listening.
right?
Don't let the
Listen.
thoughts get in there and go rampant. Feel what you're
No,
listening.
and when I'm saying listen, I'm saying listen to the body.
Yes.
Body is the
It's
voice.
heart and soul. Yeah.
The thoughts, your intuition will never come through the filter of your mind, ever.
Hmm.
It'll come through the filter of your heart and the filter of your body.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's a helpful difference. When I mean, we all know what our thoughts sound like, feel
Hmm.
like,
Yes.
'cause God, they've been a constant companion for however many years you've been aware.
Hmm.
But to hear from your heart and your body, that's a different language.
And it changes those thoughts completely, right? Gets rid of the monkey. You were given the tarot. For me, it was a gypsy reader. So
Mm,
gypsy cards and also the runes.
yes.
So they were always very much my platform. I don't necessarily go down that path anymore because this has taken over and the books and other things. But for many, many years, I did that. And they were just a tool to help me channel, right? So it just, having the cards, let people pick them, and it just kind of honed in what the message was meant to be.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what I'm doing is channeling. It's just helping me kind of identify what it is I'm channeling. And tarot never did actually speak to me at all. But and that's the thing, again, your instrument, my instrument, right? And neither one is wrong. It's just a question of what is needed in the time. Everybody has something that they're good at. It could be like my daughter is a mixologist, but when
I
she does,
love that.
when she designs drinks, she taps into the energy of the person and the situation, and she creates a cocktail around that using the essence of their energy. And she doesn't sometimes not even aware she's doing that. And she
Mm,
creates something that actually matches what the event is about and what the person is about. And my son has a restaurant. For him, it's all about food,
yep.
right? The love, the energy all goes through food. So it doesn't matter what it is, but if
No.
it's something that you're compelled to do, that your breath wants you to do it, then you know that that's your instrument. Nurture it, nurture it.
100%. I know people presume that in order to embrace this lifestyle that they're going to have to become a shaman or a swami
Yes.
or a psychic. And no, you can use finance and channel. I mean, money is
Yes,
just energy. I
exactly.
mean, you can keep the framework of your life, but just watch the color come to this vibrancy that you never noticed before.
And people don't get that. They think, well, if you're spiritually a granola bar and
Right.
hippie and way out, and
Yeah.
and it's like some of the most gifted people that are in that spiritual awakening, and they've all been woken up for one reason or the other, right, to do what they're doing. Um,
Mhm.
but we need, and we're seeing this now, that beautiful spiritual awakening in business, in
Yes.
corporate, and changing the dynamics of how business is done. And many people I've interviewed through the years have stepped away from corporate and started their own businesses to bring the heart and soul and to their customers,
Yeah.
to treat them and the people that they're working with that respect, with that gratitude, with
Right.
those good vibrations.
Yes.
And more and more corporate is beginning to say, but hang on, when you worked for me, now you're working for yourself,
Mhm.
and I'm seeing such success, how
Right.
come? And it again goes back to that attitude of gratitude and respect and
Mhm.
value of each other's instrument, and
Mhm.
not about always the bottom line.
Correct. And we're seeing it greatly, especially right
Mm.
now in healthcare
Uh-huh.
as an industry, as a business.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of doctors and, beautiful healers that are licensed and have the typical education. that are very much aligning and pulling away from corporate medicine, and really going back to kind of that intuitive, hands-on connection with their patient,
Yes.
serving the patient rather than a company, those things. And it's
I've
beautiful.
I've interviewed doctors that have been blacklisted because they did that. And
Yes,
they
I
said, I
know.
signed an oath to serve my patients the best way I can, and I have found this is the best way. There
Yes,
are, if I need to, I've got the other way.
yes,
But most of the time, it's just paying attention to where they're at or what they're, like one was an ears, nose, and throat guy. And he said so many of these people are allergic to this, that, etc. Dealing with the allergies, they didn't need the operation. And
right,
then it was being penalized because they're not pushing the operations. And he
right.
got blacklisted.
Yeah,
And for him now, he's turned the corner and literally gone the other way, so which was what he was meant to do. But it just shows I got a show coming out the same week as you, and I decided I've been doing an awful lot of kind of what I call a little heavy shows on my own. And this week it's about the consciousness rebellion, which is, the rebellion. That's where quote the fight is, though I don't like that word. It's the rising of our consciousness, and it is a rebellion out right now. But I decided, okay, sorry, we've been a bit serious lately. So what came to me, and it's always, I wait for the title to come, where is the color in a black and white world?
Oh, I love that, Sarah.
So sometimes we just have to insert some color,
Always.
right? Get that brushstroke of life out, see the color in life, wear the color, eat the color, be
Mhm.
around that color, and
Yeah.
let it color your life because suddenly what was so black and white isn't so black and white anymore.
No, it never is. And the color is always there.
And each color has its own frequency and its own vibration.
Mhm.
And you can literally change the way you feel according to what you're wearing.
100%. 100%. I mean, look at the chakras.
Yes,
The
exactly.
chakras are a great map for color.
Yeah.
If you want it just in a very basic, map of where you may start to feel it, or, and it may not resonate with every person in that order, but it's
Hmm.
a great starting point. Even if you don't want to read or learn about chakras,
Right.
use the map, use the image.
But also pay attention. I had wonderful, but a clairvoyant gourmet. And she said, if you are craving certain color foods, that's the chakra that needs to have the attention paid to it.
I
Right.
love
So,
that.
if there's something we put on, I love this color. Oh, no, I don't feel it today. Pay attention
Yes,
because our spirit is, and our body and our soul is always talking to us, and
always.
stop dictating and start paying attention.
Yeah. No, I know. It's very hard for people to release control because
Mm,
if they let go of the wheel, everything's just going to crash and burn.
yeah.
And you have to really realize, what are you gripping onto? And
Yeah.
realize that gripping, the very act of gripping and holding, I mean, just look at my body. It
Yes.
decreases the space around us, right?
Yes.
And if you let go, you increase space. And we all know the very basic science statement: nature abhors a vacuum.
Hmm.
If you don't believe anything else, but you believe that, then just when you're like this, there's no room for life to insert anything.
Exactly.
If you
Exactly.
kind of just let go, even just a little, just to play with it, all of a sudden there's room for life to fill the vacuum of the space you've created.
Yeah. I call it the flow and
It's
the rhythm of life. Our blood,
Yes,
our oxygen, our chi, our energy
yes,
all needs to be in flow. And the moment that you cut that off anywhere, that's where dis-ease starts happening.
100%. But now what I love is how the science and the data
Yes.
is backing up the
Yes.
spirituality and the
Hmm.
theories that have been in place for thousands of years.
Yeah.
I mean, the cultures around the world, the medicine women, all of them,
Mm.
they have known what science is finally catching up with. And I think, given the mental state and mental health of most
Hmm.
human beings on the planet right now, the science will be very helpful to help them break free
Yes.
and to,
Uh,
and just to
mm,
take that leap of
yeah.
faith, and to join into their consciousness.
Exactly. I mean, this is the reason why I created this channel, Quantum
Yeah.
Spirituality, because quantum physics are now beginning to understand that the resonance of people that live in the spiritual realm, in the higher elevation, can be measured.
Hmm.
And that the higher the frequency, the more people step into what we call the love vibration. And
Hmm.
once in the love vibration, you cannot do harm to yourself or anyone else because of the ripple effect, the ricochet effect. And
Mhm.
so is do not harm yourself, do not harm anyone else. And it's not kumbaya.
No,
It is all about that when we're in that love vibration, compassion, caring, consideration, collaboration, we are so much more creative as human beings. That's when the creativeness comes out.
no,
And we start to discover I am so much more than what I've limited myself to be.
correct. 100%. And you don't have to have a plan.
No.
Just go about your life, and it will just be revealed to you as you're underway.
So how
Every
did the book get revealed to you?
Well, when in 2020, when we were all inside
Hmm.
and limited, I had done a past life regression in 2017. And in that past life regression, the this beautiful woman told me that I'm in a karmic cycle where I've recently in the past lives have always been a woman in the company of very powerful men, but
Hmm.
never as the wife, always as the mistress or the muse or the mystic. And I thought to myself, okay, interesting, but I
Hmm.
didn't really think much about it. It resonated in a way. So fast forward, and I decided to use my cards in when just to kill some time because
Hmm.
a lot of our life had changed at that point for that brief period, to channel what were these past lives, who were these powerful men, what role did I play, why was I the mistress, why was I a mystic, where was I a muse. So
Hmm.
I took my one of my decks, and what was created, Sarah, were these breathtaking past lives all throughout human history,
Hmm.
that really did show me in this role. And but again, then these souls that I have shared these lives with, it turned out there are five souls, mine being one of them, that have gone through time and space together,
Hmm.
all in service of my soul being able to really ascend into unconditional love. And of course, it's all through the lens of a soulmate relationship. So it is a
Hmm.
love story, my book. But until my soul was able to accept that about me,
Yeah.
and that I am the love I seek.
Hmm.
And and
Hmm.
and I want people to understand that it's not because I'm so in love with myself, right?
No,
The way I
not
have
ego,
and
not
love
ego at all.
for my lover and for my partner. It's not. It's almost like this opening of total acceptance of my flaws and
Hmm.
of everything. And there's nothing that I hold judgment about anymore.
Hmm.
So it's changed everything.
Yes.
So the books have been fictionalized, but it's a series of books. The book that you mentioned, Whispers in the Forest, is actually book two, which takes place in the past life in Renaissance France. Book one came out in 2024, and that was ancient Egypt. And I'm currently writing book three, which will be the Vatican at the turn of the
Mm.
16th century.
What a wonderful journey.
Oh,
You
it's
know,
been magnificent.
yeah, I mean, this is, I mean, when you talked about, that self-love, it's being at home with self. It's
Mhm,
sanctuary. You
mhm.
become the sanctuary,
Yeah,
right? You become the wisdom. You are at home with who you are. And you exude that love. Your love generator oozes out, right? The cup runneth over
yes,
because it's not about I love myself and to hell with anyone else. It's about I know what love is and this is what I will share.
right.
Right. And it becomes that something that resonates and ripples out and people feel it even before they meet you. But taking these kind of journeys, oh, how exciting. I mean, I've interviewed an awful lot of people say this book I just downloaded, it just wrote itself. But taking it on the basis of past life and, being the mistress. When you said that, I thought, yeah, um, being a wife didn't work for me in this lifetime. And I'm actually kind of wondering,
Yeah, right.
because it kind of relates. And uh, it, I call them kind of factional type stories because you're kind of taking some fact, obviously, that, fictionalize it in a way that people could take that journey. But
Mhm,
there's something else you said about all your flaws. I love the word flawsome.
mhm.
Japanese take a broken bowl, put it together with gold and make it more valuable. I'm
Right.
saying take on all the beautiful shattered pieces of your existence and your experience, put yourself back together with self-love.
Yep.
And that
Exactly.
self-love will hold you together in a way that nothing else can.
It's amazing. And it's not like I don't have bad days,
Exactly.
or it's not like I don't get stressed, or I mean,
Hmm.
I own two businesses. I have these people that all these people work for me. I mean, I have the normal
Yeah.
pressures, joys, doldrums of life. But through it all is this new steady foundational truth
Hmm. Yeah.
that has become my constant companion. And as a result, nothing is as tumultuous as it used to be.
Yes. No more roller coaster,
Right?
right?
It's not
It
this. It's
it's
just
yeah,
like it's just a
a
steady.
nice little wave bobbing up and down. And occasionally it might be a little bit of a bigger wave, but you're okay. You know you're going to get over it, but none of this.
Nothing, nothing like that anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing like that anymore. And it's very liberating. And
Mm.
also, I don't need to feel fulfilled in the
Yes.
arms of another.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's a huge shift for me, because
Mhm.
I very much look to others to in my youth to give me my sense of value.
Yes.
And so that's another what I'm talking about when I say self-love. A lot of people think you fall in love with yourself, and it's
No,
it's not that.
no. And
Um,
it's not a need, it's a, it's a want. If I want somebody to
yes.
share, if I want to be with that person, the synergy of their energy, it's something I choose. It's not
Mhm.
something I need to complete me.
Right.
And for me, it's not, you don't need somebody to complete you. You're completed yourself. It's somebody who to complement you,
Exactly.
whether it be a lover or a friend or a business partner. Is that complementary of your energies and how they dance together.
Yes. Yes. It just makes it better.
Hmm.
I'm good. I love my life, but wow,
Yeah.
now it's enhanced. Wow,
Yeah.
now it's a little more colorful.
Yeah.
My goodness, now the juice is a little bit
Hmm.
richer.
Yes.
So it's a beautiful state of being.
And I think for so many of us, we're taught to chase life. You're not going to be happy on your own. You've got to have this, you've got to have that. And it's, as I said, like coming home to yourself. I love my own time.
Yeah.
I love my own silence. I love being alone. I'm busy doing this. I have a daughter with number three grandson on its way, and then
Oh.
do a lot with my two little grandbabies, and I do a little bit of networking, etc., and run my business all online. But
Mhm.
I just love the no company because I'm enough company.
Right. Yeah. And that also does come with the grace of aging. I
Hmm.
mean, that's one thing I love about being older is I don't have any noise in my head to
Yeah,
silence through anything. So that is a privilege of maturing in life. You do get to that really comfortable, cozy place with just
yeah.
yourself and your own company. You're not lonely.
Hmm.
There's no loneliness.
No.
I may be alone a lot, but I don't even think of it that way. I'm living my life.
Yes. I look at
Um,
my mum who died at 95, and
mm,
even though she lived with my brother, except she always, all through her life, felt lonely. And I understand that, for I did for a long, long time. And it was because I was always a spiritual being in a world that wasn't ready for it. And I
right.
felt alone because I wasn't seen or heard or felt, because other people were either scared or not ready, and the volume hadn't been turned up, which they've
Yes.
been gradually doing over the years.
Yeah. That's
So
isolating. That's very
it
isolating.
is isolating. And I felt alone because of that, because I felt that I wasn't seen. And it wasn't like, see me. It was just like I needed to be seen for connection.
Yeah.
And I couldn't connect with people because they were on a different frequency. So
Right.
I was there to show them their path, and off they would go. But it did feel lonely for a while. But my mum's loneliness was more to do with always feeling needing to be validated,
Mm,
always needing. She was that exterior life, beautiful woman, very, very talented, but it was always needing that attention to be reassured.
yes.
And I don't need the reassurance, as Popeye says, I am what I am. Take me or leave me, right?
Yeah.
I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm somebody's strong cup of black coffee.
Mhm.
It's all preference. I'm not going to take it personally if I'm not on your same vibe,
Correct.
right? But where you become insecure and needy is that you need that attention to validate who you are. And when you let go of that, because we've all gone through it at some point, when you let go of that, oh my God, what an enormous burden you've taken off. And it's suddenly the freedom to be who you are
Correct.
And all you need to please and give permission to is yourself.
Correct. And you become pure possibility.
Yeah.
That's my favorite state of being. When
Hmm.
I know I am in truly in my highest alignment, when I feel wholly and completely possible.
I love that. Yeah, I but I moved where I am here just over a year ago, and then I started kind of networking, mostly to get me out. Otherwise, I'm doing this, so actually to get around human beings. And I'm around a lot of business people who are networking with their companies and this and that. And one by one, I'm interviewing them, and it's nothing to what they expect,
Mm,
right? And it's basically, this is what you do. This is what your gift is. It's great, but I want to know why you do it. Where's the connection to what you're doing? To whom it serves? How does it serve them? Where's the passion and the conviction to it? That's the story I want to know. And they've not been asked that before.
wow.
It's
No,
all
I
about performance and productivity. And
yes.
instead of the connection to what they're doing. And so slowly, one by one, they're coming on and being interviewed because that permission. And it's like, I don't know what to do with that. Don't worry, I'll
Exactly.
conduct. Don't worry. But I feel that's where that paradigm is changing. You don't need to prove how great you are or how this you or that you are. I just want to know why you do what you do.
Oh, I love that so much. Well, and that seems to have been part of your purpose in many
Hmm.
lifetimes,
Yes,
is exactly that. And now you're finally in a civilization and a point in human history where you're actually pushing and propelling people to consider that. And that's them rising up into their consciousness.
yes. Unconsciously rising up to consciousness,
Yeah.
right? And I think for so many people, if you say to them, and you start talking spiritually and consciousness, oh, like this, but there's ways of introducing them to their own consciousness, their
Hmm.
own awareness,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that opening up that door to that they didn't even know they had a handle, in order to open. And I think that's what we're seeing subtly. And we're also seeing with so many celebrities and people standing up and owning their vulnerability,
Yes.
owning their own conflicts, owning the spiritual journey that they've taken, and no longer FUPA or white coats coming to take you away. It's like, you did, you what, you
Mhm.
are,
Yeah.
and it became, I say, inspiration begins invitation. That
Yeah.
inspiration invites people to go, but could that be me? Could that be me? Can I take that path too? Where would
100.
I go? Who would I be?
Yeah. No, you see it a lot on, especially on social media, this
Mm,
whole wave of, the traditional celebrity, but all
yeah.
these also new social media celebrities, what are they called? Influencers
Yes.
that are kind of spirituality influencers,
Yes.
right? They're just being really vulnerable and transparent about what they've tried and how this has helped them heal and it's helped them let go of trauma versus traditional psychotherapy. And
Yeah.
I really admire people that will share their pain that way and
Hmm.
their experiences simply because again it gives the permission
Hmm.
to consider if it is a fit for the self.
Yes, and the awakening, kind of pressing some buttons in some people that open up something inside of them that they
Yes.
didn't know was there. And of
Yeah.
course, Oprah's been one for that.
Oh, she's been on that.
I mean, she's like that journey of her stepping into spirituality and, not just being a woman, but being a woman of color and being a woman that went through what she went through and all the expectations with her show and where she's gone unapologetically.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I
100%.
think that's the thing when she stopped apologizing and she started owning who she was and sharing that
Yeah.
discovery, it just became gobsmacking for people, to see. And then you can't reveal yourself in that way and share that journey in a way without it having an effect on people. For
No way.
some, they're going to run. And for others, like, oh, I could feel things shedding. I didn't even know there were clamps on me.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, I can do it too.
Exactly.
It makes people start to believe in their potential.
Yeah,
And that's a beautiful thing to witness. I
it
mean, there's
is.
nothing I love more in my work when I see that, proverbial penny go in the slot
Yeah.
and people get that aha moment
Hmm.
and they start to connect the dots from a different point of view. A quarter has two sides. If you're only looking at it from
Yeah.
one side, you're missing a whole different opportunity of perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just such a joy to help people along that path.
Yeah,
Um,
true. And sometimes, you're working with people, so you're seeing it as it goes. Obviously with podcasting or books, it's out there and I don't see it,
yes,
right? And occasionally you get a feedback. And I had to let it go because once it's out there, it's out of, I have no control over it now. How people hear it, read it, feel it,
right.
it's up to them and where they are in their journey.
Yes.
It's like, you're 18 now, off you go.
But that's lovely for you. And because of really, especially from what you shared about your past life and where you like, you must touch the many. That's, I think, your purpose is to touch the
Yes,
many, right?
yes.
Mine
But
is
you can't
about,
be attached to it. You can, in
yeah,
a sense, because it's happening right in front of you. With me, it's at arm's length, so to speak. So I don't know, but
yeah,
I have to trust that it is.
yeah,
And the thing is, I get up every day, COVID or not, this and that. The only time I cancel if it's absolutely dire emergency or my grandchildren.
sure.
Mom, I need a babysitter. The
Oh,
baby's
fair
sick.
enough. Family comes first. Yes.
I am there for the babies. Otherwise, it is something I would do through thick and thin because I am so enriched and abundant in this currency
Yeah.
of spiritual love. Why aren't you making money, sir? And I say, yes, it would be nice to make money. It would be nice to have that, and I don't charge enough. That's not the point. It's sharing the abundance and the enrichment
Right.
of the knowledge and how that enriches us as a society and how it helps us all elevate up to another level, how it helps the world grow and heal and become as one. It isn't about the Borg and becoming, Star Trek, the Borg, and being, assimilated. It
Right.
is
Yeah.
about a contribution. What is our each contribution to
Mhm.
this world and how does it serve each other?
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful.
That's what the journey we're on, right?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And just to do it from such a place of inspiration is inspiring. It's just incredible.
And compulsion, it's like I've done it 13 years for me, and I don't know how many years you've been doing this, but it's like you can't go backwards. You can't walk away from
No,
this.
no.
It's what your purpose is now.
Hmm.
How you're meant to do it will constantly branch out and offer you different ways,
Yes.
right? But you know that this is your meaningful purpose, and you will explore the different many ways of doing it and whom it serves, but you
Hmm.
couldn't go back on who you are now.
No. Oh my goodness, never. No. I mean, I could never have scripted the way it's
Mm,
all transpired.
yeah,
I mean, and it's so that's where I realized that my arrogance for so much of my youth, where I tried to anticipate what was coming and
yeah.
plan and get ahead of it. And I mean, to think I can outplan the divine, is is so
Yes.
arrogant.
Yes. Yes.
So I
I was
will
just saying when you
say
make a plan, God laughs, right?
exactly. And so I will say to people, when you're in the throes of a troubling time, a dark night of the
Mm,
soul, or just some real, a lot of chaos. Remember that while you are so distracted by what is that darkness or that pain and that problem, life is showing up for you in
mm,
miraculous ways that will be revealed. Because as you focus in on that, again, you create all this space
yeah.
where you normally would be trying to control all that and bring it in.
Yeah.
So that's what happened for me. I mean, I literally, my life became very tunneled into, what I was going to do about my marriage and the fear
Mm,
over my father's impending death.
right.
And so all of a sudden, life just was like, oh, now we've got room to play.
And your father had a way to go, okay, now I can really serve you,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Because um, death isn't the final frontier. It is just
Oh,
the exit of the body, and the
right.
essence of who we are goes on. And for so many, it is now, okay, my life on this path has served its purpose.
Hmm.
Now my spirit will go to work in other realms and other ways. And, nothing completely dies. There are some spirits and souls that need to go to soul school. you
Yes, I
know
believe that too. I
and
definitely believe that.
they've got to get their spirit head on straight before they
Mhm.
come back, and some people come back many a time until they learn the right lesson.
Right.
So it's all a question of we all signed a contract when we came here. We signed up for this.
Yeah,
That's for a purpose.
I'm very aligned with you on all of that. That's why some of my greatest blessings have been my cruelest,
Mm,
companions.
yeah.
But
Yes.
but God, they have served that contract so beautifully. How could I be angry with them? Like,
Mm,
this was the agreement and you played your part well.
yes.
And even though it was painful, I have such deep gratitude for you because it's an act of unconditional love to serve my soul in a way to get it into its next highest vibration and its
Right.
elevation. It's
And
just
a
so
lot of
beautiful.
people think that you're not going to have obstacles. You're not going to have struggles. I have found my marriage, which I've had for 28 years, and it really does dampen my energy, and it can sometimes be a bit of a struggle. But I came to understand why I was given it.
Yeah.
My energy was too high.
Yeah.
My spiritual energy was too up there on a plane, and it didn't reach people. I had to have the earthly anchor me so
Mm,
that the energy would be there where it could reach people. And as people rise, I do believe I will rise out of pain because I will then be having matched energy around me.
right. You don't
So,
need that
yeah.
grounding. Yeah.
So a lot of people, well, if you're so spiritual, how come you're dealing with this or that? No, what it does, it gives us the wisdom and the empowerment to know how to deal with things and
Mhm.
to understand that maybe we don't know straight away why something is happening, but it will be revealed. We'll understand down the road. It's just to trust that it,
Yes.
it could be that nudge, nudge, wink, wink. You're going in the wrong direction, right?
Right. Of course.
Um, and as you go down that path and you suddenly get revealed into something else, okay, had I gone down that path, I wouldn't have had this opportunity or seen this or learned that. And so don't expect to know it straight away. It will come when the time is right.
Absolutely. No
And the
question.
universe works on a different time schedule, doesn't it?
Well, because time doesn't exist to the universe.
Exactly.
Oh, so there is that.
You're right. And it has to wait for, especially if you're meant to meet people, it has to wait for the alignment of energies before
Mhm.
it can present the opportunity to meet,
Correct.
right? So it's, very often we can be in our own way and we could change that energy
Mhm.
and we can stop something that's meant to happen because we're not on the right
Oh,
frequency.
100%. Nothing
Mhm.
is a guarantee.
No,
A lot of people come to tarot thinking it's a fortune telling tool.
yes.
And I don't believe in predicting the future.
Hmm.
It's to me, it's an impossible task. You can
Right.
get some very strong probabilities with the way energies are in a specific moment,
Hmm.
but that doesn't guarantee that, that's the way it's going to go. And everyone's walking around, first of all, with free will to do what they
Right.
wish, and accidents happen, things happen.
Yes,
They
interruptus happens. But it's also what you're seeing for them is a roadmap of possibility.
Correct.
How they walk it
Yeah.
is still up to them. It's just really these are the possibilities that you have.
Yeah.
How you choose to walk it and in what light, that's up to you,
Yeah.
right? It's not an absolute.
No, and my job is to show them where their frequency and vibration is in relation to love
Yes.
or career or
Yeah.
whatever. Because even though you desire something, you can very well be blocking it energetically.
Yes, especially if the mind or past things are in the way, right?
100%. Yeah.
And again, it goes back to that awareness. How many people are aware that they're doing that to themselves?
Yeah.
And when it's somebody like yourself that can say A, B, C, D, oh my God, I didn't even know that was there. No wonder I'm getting an F. you know?
Right. Yes.
So, and that's we're not meant to know it all. That's why we
No.
need the expertise from other people because they're the projectors of what they see in us that we're unable to see in ourselves.
Correct. For sure. Yeah. It's just
This
beautiful.
is exciting. So book three is in the process of being written. So
Book three is
what I have here, I'm going to have the books that you do have out here on the platform for you here right now. So book one and two is available right now.
Mhm. Yes, Arcanum book one, In the Temple Shadows, and book two, Whispers in the Forest, are both available on Amazon.
And you have a website. This is this just for the books, or is it for something else? Can people reach out to you if they want to reach out to you for your other services there too?
Correct. If you go to my website, arcanumtheseries.com, You can learn about the books, but there's also a page just for tarot if you'd like to inquire about getting a reading. So you can do
Can you
that there.
spell the Arcanum for them, please, for people who are just listening?
Of course. Arcanum is Arcanum.
Arcanum,
The
the
series.
series.com. And of course, on Instagram, you're under your name,
Yes, Kelly
Kelly,
O'Hearn, author.
and Facebook, also Arcanum.
Is Arcanum.
YouTube, your name, and also author. And I don't know if you're on anything else, but and of course the book can be bought in Amazon and most other places, right?
Yes, yes.
Excellent. So when do we expect book 3?
Hopefully the summer of 2026. I'm trying to get one out a year.
Excellent. Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
You know,
Thank
and again, that is it's allowing,
you. Yeah,
right? You know,
yeah.
and I always say when the time is right. It took 5 years for me to find the right people for that book. And for the next
Mhm.
book, Our Forgotten Seniors, you know, I have one senior, all the other have seniors haven't come yet. But when it's right, when the
Exactly.
chorus is ready, you know, then we will get it done. And that's one thing I had to learn to do is let go of timing,
Yeah,
right? Because there ain't no time up there, and things will happen when the synchronicity of energies are in the right alignment.
correct. Absolutely. No, and that is proven to me over and over again.
Mm.
Yeah.
Don't fight it, folks. It's a waste of energy.
It,
Learn to go with it. Learn to
yeah,
pay attention to it.
yeah, 100%. And just trust it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I imagine that this really changes the way you do business altogether. The way you attract people and the effect that you have on people, because
Mhm.
your energy will perceive you, and your energy is the conductor. So it's probably a completely different, you know, kind of 180 to any way you might have done business before.
Yeah. And I'm a businesswoman. I love business.
Hmm.
So it has it, but it's changed the way I engage with people.
Yes.
I'm not so controlling. If there's a delay, I'm like, okay, there's a delay,
Yeah.
I can take responsibility for how I show up
Hmm.
and the work that I put on myself and the expectations and my intentions for that day's work. But other than that, that's it,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it just all works out. It always works out.
It does. You know, the chorus can practice as much as they like, and just before they're going to go on stage, everything sounds awful. Somebody's got a sore throat.
Yes,
But you know, the moment the camera's on, they're on the stage and they're all there for the right reasons, suddenly beautiful harmonies, right?
exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
No question. So
Don't sweat the small stuff. Tap in, allow, pay attention. How do you receive? Because you're going to, is it your body? Is it heart, soul, spirit, head? How do you receive? Pay attention to that.
yeah.
Learn to open up that channel. Do not dismiss it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, cosmic 2x4, do not dismiss it. Don't argue with it. Just learn to trust it and learn to read it and what it's actually trying to tell you.
Yeah. I promise you it's worth it.
Come on in. The waters are great.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. 100%.
Thank you so much for sharing here today and for taking your path. I'm sorry that your father passed, but that was actually now for him to help you doing what you're doing now.
Right.
And obviously, the marriage was on the old you, and it would not have been able to go with you in the future
Right.
you. So
Correct.
you know that cosmic 2x4, however hard, you know, put you on this path. So thank you for that, and you know, thank you for paying attention and going with it and learning and listening and growing with all that it wants to take you. It's we need more of that. We need people to trust that that's the way to go.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me, Sarah. This has been an absolute delight.
Um, these are all my guilty pleasure. These shows, I love these. So, yeah, soul sister, absolutely. So, you know, folks, it's every single one of us can do it. Every single one of us is meant to do it. Every single one of us has an instrument that we need to learn how to play and who to play it for and where to join. But just please stop dictating, stop living up to expectations, and allow. So until next time, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration, it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.